begin, my name is Sarah Hassan and I'm from the Algonquin College Student Recruitment Team. For anyone who has newly joined us, thank you for coming to this information session. Today, you're going to learn more about our English for Academic Purposes program. Today we have with us, we've got someone here with us from the international team. So if we have any international students, we definitely will be getting to your questions during the Q&A session. And we also have myself, who's from the recruitment office for the domestic students. We also have Sean McMahon with us here today. He's the faculty marketer for this program, as well as the program coordinator, Sineadu MBA, who's here with us today to tell us more about the program. Today, we're going to go through quite a few items relating to the program. We're going to go through the program overview, what kind of student you should take this kind of program, what the admission process looks like for domestic students and for international students, what the fees and expenses look like for both, student supports that are available to students in that program. We're going to talk about the faculty in the program, the student experience, opportunities once you finish EAP, what can you do with that? And then we'll have a Q&A session. But before we begin with the presentation, I just want to go through two more housekeeping items. At the bottom of your screen, you should see a Q&A function and you should see a chat function. During the presentation, throughout the entire presentation, if any question comes to mind, please feel free to submit that in the Q&A function. I will be monitoring the Q&A function and I will try to help answer any questions I can. And we can also use those questions to track them and take them up during the Q&A session. The chat function will be used throughout the session just to, maybe send out links if there's something relevant to, the presentation. So we won't be really monitoring the chat for any questions, but we definitely will be looking at the Q&A for questions that come in. So again, anytime throughout the session, just click on the Q&A and you're able to type up your question. Right below the text box for the question, there's even an option to submit your question anonymously. So if you don't want your name to come up and you have a question, you can check that box and we won't even know who asked that question, okay? All right, so without further ado, let us begin. I'm going to switch the mic to Sineadu. Sineadu, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much. So I can share my screen. Let's get this. Great. I guess you can see my screen now. So good morning, everyone. Thanks, Sarah. Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Sineadu Umba, and I coordinate the domestic stream of the EAP program. What that means is in the EAP program, we've got two streams. That means we've got the section, sort of, in quotes, for international students and then domestic students. However, both groups of students all study in the same classroom. We have the international students because the admission process is different. If they're coming from outside the country, the admission process is different. And then the domestic students who are students that are either Canadian citizens, permanent residents, or have a refugee status. The admission process is different, so that's why. But I'm going to be talking to you about both the international and the domestic parts of the EAP program. And so on my screen here, we'll start by talking about the program overview. And this is just to give you a general idea of what the program is like, the structure and what you can expect. And then the following slides will give you a little bit more detail. And like Sarah said, if you have questions, use the Q&A function, and I might answer some of those questions before, or if the questions are contained in the slides, then I'll talk through them in the slides. So the program overview, the first thing you will notice is that the EAP program, when you take it, you get an Ontario College certificate. And what that means is that it is recognized across Ontario and actually across Canada as if you say you've taken the EAP program, your language proficiency level will be recognized. In our own particular program, there are 3 levels, and I'm going to explain that. So we say there are 3 levels. We've got EAP 1, 2, and 3. Each level has 2 parts. Level A has 1A and 1B. Level 2 has 2A and 2B, and level 3 has 3A and 3B. And so part A is 7 weeks long, part B is 7 weeks long, which means that if you're in level 1, it's going to take you 14 weeks of classes to complete the level. Now, when we have 7 weeks, at the end of 7 weeks, we might have a 1 week or 2 week break, depending on how the term in the college is structured. So you do 7 weeks for part 1A, and then take a break 1 week or 2 weeks sometimes, and then you do another 7 weeks. And if you pass all those courses, then you would have finished level 1 and you can go on to level 2. It says here that it takes 4 months to complete each level. So we are assuming that the student is being successful and is not having to fail any course at all. Something else that's really unique about our program is that it's got an academic culture. And what that means is that in our teaching and the way we communicate with students, we make sure that they experience what academia is all about. So it's not that we don't have informal conversations, but we work very hard to make sure that in the classroom, the listening is academic focused, the speaking, the reading, and the writing is academic focused, and even the way you communicate in general in your emails and your conversations with your classmates and your teachers are all academic. Now, when you take our EAP program, you can be confident that you will be able to function very well or even much better in your job. And that's because we have electives that also prepare you for the workplace. Now, I already said we've got the international and the domestic. Our program is very diverse. I say it's really rich. For me, what I really like about the EAP program is I don't have to travel. It's like being in the United Nations. I get to visit every country almost in the world by meeting the students in the class. And so there's a richness it brings. You learn about other cultures, you learn about working in teams, you learn about personalities. So apart from learning the language and the Canadian culture, you learn about other citizens of the world. Now, our class sizes are manageable. They're really good because the teacher has the time to work with you one-on-one and work with you in small groups. So you will never feel like a number in our classrooms. You will always be able to get individual attention. Now, at this time, as everybody knows, there's COVID. And so things have changed a little bit in the way we deliver our programs. And so for this time, all our EAP programs are delivered remotely, and we use the Zoom platform to do this. Some students often worry, I don't like online, but I can tell you that our teachers are so versatile and very well trained that even though you're online, you really don't notice it very much because there's such a great community and the energy there. It almost feels like you're actually in a physical classroom. As I already mentioned, we offer elective courses. So an elective course in this case is an extra course, an additional course you take along with the core courses. And the idea is that we want to give you a really broad foundation in terms of the knowledge base so that you're not just studying English, but you're also learning other concepts that will make your language richer and your experience richer. And so some of the elective courses, we have pronunciation, we have Discover Canada, because you want to know all about Canada. We have communication in the workplace, we have healthy lifestyle. So we want to give you some general knowledge that would really enrich your experience. We also run a conversation club. Speaking is really important. And so the Conversation Club is free. You sign up for it, you go and you have a variety of themes and topics to talk about. And there, it's a safe environment for you to, make your mistakes and learn how to converse informally, casually, and also formally. And we also have tutor support. Essentially what that, and this is really free, and that's something that's, I think is mighty special about our program. And so if you find that in class, it's maybe the reading is really difficult for you, or you think, I really would like to have a little bit more help in this area, all you have to do is let your teacher know, or you can let me know, and we would put you in contact with a very special faculty we have with a student success specialist, and she will set you up with a tutor who would meet with you once a week or twice a week to give you that extra support. Like I already said, our EAP program, our core courses are reading, listening and speaking, and then writing. We also provide extra support by way of academic advising. So when you join the EAP program, if you're a new student, we assign you an academic advisor. The academic advisor is someone who understands how the college works, who understands about the needs of second language learners, and this person is there to help you locate and connect you to resources that are in the college, so that you can have a better chance at being successful. And then I already mentioned a student success specialist. The student success specialist is also there to support you if you have concerns with your academic success and things like that. And so that's generally what our program is all about. You can tell that our program is wholesome, and it really looks at the student as a whole person and not just as someone who's coming to learn the language. Okay, let's move this. Come on. All right, so let's talk about the faculty, the teachers. Our teachers are trained, they are certified to teach English for academic purposes. Most of our teachers have had an opportunity to teach overseas in different countries. They have either a master's or a PhD or an EDD. So the PhD is the more academic part of the doctoral program, and the EDD is the professional part of the doctoral program. They have at least 5 years experience teaching in different contexts. They come from different cultures, which is really important. And if you know anything about Algonquin College, we care, we respect, we are honest. If we say we're going to do something, we will do our best to do it. And if we can't do it, we'll come back and tell you we can't do it. And we focus on learning. So our faculty, in everything they do, the way they communicate with you and interact with you, demonstrate the core values of Algonquin College: caring, respect, integrity, and learning. And it's not just the faculty. Actually, everybody who works at Algonquin College does really demonstrate these values. Oh, there, that's me looking different. Okay, so there you have a picture of my colleague and myself. His name is Saeed Javid Kazmi. He's the coordinator who takes care of the international students, and that is me, Chinedu. Like I said before, I work more closely with the Canadian and domestic students. If you need to contact us at this time, the best way really to do it would be by email. You can send your email with questions, and we'll do our best to get back to you. And so now you've heard about the program and the faculty. I guess the next question is, oh, how do I join this fantastic program? So I'll start by talking about what the domestic students can do. The domestic students would need to go into OCAS, which is the Ontario Colleges application system, you have to set up an account there. And when you set up your account, the next step would be to complete the application. When you go on to complete your application, it's important that you look for this code here, the program code, and make sure that you're applying to the right program. Once you've paid your fee and you've completed the application and submitted it, you'll give us a couple of days because the college needs to process your application. And once that is done, you would get an email that shows you a link and says to you that you need to complete a placement test. You'll have to click on the link, book your test. Once you've completed the placement test, the test coordinator would send you your placement after reviewing your test result. One other option is sometimes people already have an IELTS or TOEFL result. If you do that, once you filled out your OCAS form and you've sent it in, you don't need to book a test. You will just email your your TOEFL or IELTS test results to us. I or my colleague would review your test results and we will place you accordingly. Something I need to, a point I need to make here is students or applicants ask sometimes, oh, I have a degree from my home country and I need to have my papers processed at West. You don't need to do that for the EAP program because we're working on your language proficiency. We don't need you to submit your degree certificates from your home country, okay? So what I've said here for domestic students, there are two options for you. You set up your account on OCAS, complete the application form, submit it, and you get a letter that tells you to book your placement test, which you can book and then write the placement test and we'll place you and notify you. Or if you already have an IELTS or a TOEFL result, after completing the application, send us your TOEFL result or your IELTS result and we will place you. Now, domestic students can apply for OSAP. OSAP is the Ontario Student Assistance Program. It is a phenomenal program the government has set up to help us pay for our fees. And so the OSAP is made up of two parts, I'm gonna say two pots of money. One is the grant and one is the loan. And so depending on your own circumstance, because everybody's different, once you complete the OSAP application, they'll tell you how much money you will get if you're eligible. But the good thing about this is that at the college, we have an OSAP officer who can work with you and help you navigate that process. So let me just go over this slide one more time because there's a lot of information here. If you are a domestic student, which means you're a Canadian citizen or a PR holder, or perhaps you've got your refugee status, you can apply into the EAP program by doing one of two things. First, go to Ontario College's application account system, open an account, complete the application form, submit it. You will get an email from Algonquin College after a couple of days. In that email, you will see information on how to book for your test. Go ahead and book for the test. Complete the test. The test is online. Once you have completed your test, we will notify you of where you will be placed. That is one way. The second way is go into OCAS, set up your account, complete the application form, and submit it. But because you have an IELTS or TOEFL result, you do not need to write that test. All you do is submit your application and email your IELTS or TOEFL result to me or my colleague. Okay. All right, so I'll go on to the next slide. Sarah, are there any questions I need to answer about admissions for
No,
domestic students? Okay.
no, I don't have
So,
any admissions questions. I just clarified that OCAS is the same thing as Ontario colleges.
okay, thanks.
No problem.
Yes, lots of acronyms. Okay, so the next thing I'd like to talk about is the admission process for international students. And as I talk about this, Faisal might jump in at any point and add any information I've missed. So the admission process for the international students really starts online. Like you see here, if you're a new applicant, you have to click here, and then you have to submit an application. You also, depending on if you have an IELTS or TOEFL result, you can submit those along with your application. Or if you don't have any of those, then you would have an opportunity to write the placement test, after which we will place you. Some international students work with agents. If you're working with agents, then your agent is going to guide you through the process. If you want to access this, this is the link to it. If you go to this, you would be able to get to this page. Faisal, is there something you'd like to add at this point?
No, Chinadu, you covered it all. If they lose that link, it's easily found if they go to algonquincollege.com/international. They can also find it there, just in case if they lose that link. That's the only thing.
Okay. And so thank you very much. And so when you get there and you click new applicant, it's really very intuitive, meaning it really guides you through the process. But if you get confused or, send a quick email to myself or my colleague, and we'll get someone to help you. And so still talking about the admission process for international students, this is just a screenshot of what you would see. It says current application processing time is about 4 to 6 weeks from the time application checklist is complete. So there are a number of things you have to do. Pick a program. Say if you want a September term or a January term or, or a May term, you have to tell us when you want to come. And so once you've completed what it says here, and you submit it, you give 4 to 6 weeks to get some feedback from us on your placement or if we need more information. Okay, and so something that's unique about our international admissions is that they have regular information sessions for students and applicants. And so if you go to that website, you'll find constant updates on when the information sessions will be and who you can contact. So now let's talk about the actual structure of the EAP program. If you recall, when I was speaking to the first slide, I said to you that each level has 2 parts, A and B, and it's 7 weeks and 7 weeks. Well, before you get into the EAP program, we have another level. It's called the pre-EAP program. And so sometimes when students are writing the tests, they ask me, oh, what if I fail? There is no failing when you write the test, because the test is simply saying, oh, this is how much you know. This is how much you need to know. And when we have that information, we can say to you, okay, so because you need to know this, this is where we think you should start. And so write the test. Don't be concerned about failing or passing. It's not a pass or fail. It's just to tell us how we can best support you. And so because of that, we've got the pre-EAP level. Students who start at the pre-EAP level could start at pre-EAP 1 or pre-EAP 2. It all depends on what your test result is. In the pre-EAP 1, it's 7 weeks long. the students would take the writing, reading, and grammar for listening and speaking. Okay, the writing class is 5 hours a week. The reading class, 5 hours a week. The grammar for listening and speaking is 10 hours a week. And then on this side, we've got the pre-EAP 2. There's a writing, reading, grammar for listening and speaking. Again, this is 7 weeks long. The writing, 5 hours a week. The reading, 5 hours a week. Grammar for listening and speaking, 10 hours a week. And so that is pre-EAP. Pre-EAP 1, pre-EAP 2, and then we move on to the EAP program. Now, the EAP program, like I said, we have 3 levels. So this is level 1, level 2, level 3. If you remember, I said there's a part A and there's a part B. Part A, part B, part A, part B. If you recall, I said that there are elective courses. The elective courses are typically offered in the part B term. And so you'll see here, pronunciation, Discover Ottawa, and workplace communication. The only exception is when you get to level 3, we also have an elective in the part A section. So in summary, the EAP program, core EAP program, it's 7 weeks for each term, part A, 7 weeks for part B. The courses are reading, writing, listening, and speaking. In the part B term, there are the elective courses. Okay, and that will be it. I had said there's a 1-week break. Sometimes it's a 2-week break, but most of the time it's 1 week. So it varies depending on what the school calendar is all about. So how do you progress? I'll just go back here. So you'll notice that we've got part A. I'll use level 1 to illustrate this. We've got part A, reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And we've got part B, reading, writing, listening, and speaking, pronunciation. For you to take reading part B, you must pass reading part A. For you to take writing part B, you must pass writing part A. For you to take listening part B, you must pass listening part A. Now, students ask, what if I fail reading part A and pass writing part A and listening and speaking part A? What happens to me? So let's go, let's go here. So if you pass listening and speaking 1A, you can go on to take listening and speaking 1B. However, if a student fails listening and speaking part A, the student will take listening and speaking part A again, but the student can continue with reading part B and writing part B. I'll just go back here. So you've taken part A here, reading, you passed it. You've taken writing part A, you passed it. You've taken listening and speaking part A, but you did not pass it. What happens is the next term, you will repeat this one, but you will take part B reading and you will take part B writing. And that's the way students progress here. Sarah, are there any questions about the course progression?
No questions about cost progression.
Okay. So why do we say that the Algonquin College EAP program is the best? for students who want to learn academic English so that they can be successful at work and in school, I'll tell you. If we look at some comments from students, this student who was in EAP 2, she said, one thing I love the most about the college is that they help and encourage students. They teach with the help of activities and experienced teachers that makes studies more interesting. And we have an EAP 3 student, Gafsi, says, as an EAP student, I recognize the importance of technology to continuing the course's delivery of the program. Yet it would not be possible without the perseverance and determination of the educational staff. An EAP 1 student writes, finally, I would like to conclude that the remote study is a very successful experience, and I would like to continue to finish this program remotely. Donna, another EAP 1 student, says, I have had EAP program online and it is very useful for me, especially in these difficult days with this pandemic situation. But this doesn't prevent us from continuing to learn. It is a useful experience to learn at home, and I meet the other classmates through the video. We all talk together through class, and it also makes it easier for me because I learn at home and I do not need to take the bus to go to school, so it saves the time. Something I like to say about learning online, the way we run our program here, is that our teachers are very understanding. And if you're having a hard time in class managing your children and learning online, speak with your teachers. They will work with you to find a way to ensure that you're able to continue with your studies. Okay, so don't be concerned that it's going to be too stressful. Our teachers, our student success specialists, the student academic advisor, and the coordinators, our job is to make sure that we work with you to help you achieve your dreams. So just come forward and share your concerns and we will support you. So talking about support, Algonquin College is set up in such a way that it is not just your academic goals that we take care of. We are very particular looking at you as a human being first. And because of this, they have services that help. So we've got the academic study skills and peer tutors. We've got career and employment, because when you finish school, you need a job. We've got student experience, life outside classroom. I mean, you're going to school, but you still have to enjoy your life. So there are activities. There's mental health. The mind is a powerful thing. And if our mind is not working well, it's difficult to be successful. Algonquin College recognizes this. And so we have counselors and activities to help support your mental health. We've got health and wellness, again, the whole person, accessibility. We are all unique. We need different things to be successful. Some of us need to study in a different way. And so this is what accessibility is. Algonquin College has an office that makes sure that everybody has something called equity, so that if there are services available, each person has a good chance at getting that service, whether it's learning or whatever it is. And then we have the Indigenous students. Something that's truly special about Canada is that it recognizes the real owners of the land. We are all guests to this Canadian land where we are. And so the original owners of the land, most Canadian institutions have offices, okay, that are devoted to teaching us about the culture and how to respect the land. And so the Indigenous Students Office is such an office. As when you join Algonquin College, you will get to know more about it. And then there's a unit that takes care of new students and their needs. And then we have a unit, life, there are crises, pandemic is a crisis. And so we have a department at the college that works to make sure that we're able to function even when there's a crisis. And now there's ombudsman. Sometimes we don't agree. Sometimes we need someone to help us resolve problems. And so the ombudsman it's an office where students and faculty can go if you have a concern and you think, oh, if I talk to so and so about it, they will not be objective. The ombudsman is objective and will help you address problems. And so you can see this circle, the whole person, and those are the kinds of student support services Algonquin College provides for its students. So something else that's important to talk about is money. And so the fees. For domestic students, I already mentioned OSAP, Ontario Student Assistance Program. For this, you have to apply online. And so to pay your fees, you can either apply for OSAP or you can choose to pay the fees yourself. What kind of expenses? So you will buy books, okay? Some of you might have to travel, and so you might need to buy gas and things like that for your car. But with regards to the actual studies, you can expect to spend money on books. It could be anywhere from $100 to $250. And all the books you need, you can get from the college bookstore. And so you take the EAP program and you finish. What happens? The beauty of our program is that the programs of study at Algonquin College have an arrangement with the EAP program such that if you take the EAP program and you meet certain requirements, you don't need to write IELTS or TOEFL to enter the program of study. And so that is really fantastic. And so these are some programs we have at Algonquin College you can consider as you go into the EAP program. We've got the School of Advanced Technology, the Center for Construction Excellence, School of Business, General Arts and Science, School of Health and Community Studies, School of Hospitality and Tourism, School of Media and Design, the Police and Public Safety Institute. So these are programs you can get into. So I said to you that the programs have an arrangement with the EAP program such that if you meet certain language requirements, you don't need to write the IELTS or the TOEFL. And so if you want to get into a one-year certificate program at Algonquin College and you take the EAP program, get up to level 3, and you have a B- in every course, not just in level 3, starting from level 1. You have a B- minimum in each course. Then you would have met the English language requirements, okay? B- in every course. However, if you want a degree or postgraduate certificate, or you want to go into some program in the School of Health and Community Studies or some School of Media and Design diplomas, then you need a B in each course. Okay, so, but for more details on this, we can find it online, or you can send me a quick email and we can talk about it. Sarah, are there any questions on this?
Yeah, well, we do have a lot of questions, not specifically on this, but
Okay.
but we do have quite a few questions actually open. So maybe
Is
at the
there
end.
anything? Let's see what comes up. Oh, well, that's the end then. I guess I can take the questions. And so if you do have questions after this session, send a quick email to languages@algonquincollege.com and someone will get back to you. Okay? Okay, Sarah.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you
Want me
very
to
much for
stop
the
sharing?
presentation.
I'll stop
Uh,
sharing.
You could keep it there. You might need to refer back to your slides in case a question comes up.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you. That was a very thorough presentation, very informative. Thank you for that. We did answer quite a few questions